Welcome to my podcast, Rashad in Conversation. Today I'm joined by Dharmaraj Ganesan. Dharma is a quality, health and safety, and environmental systems assurance professional with over 16 years of experience in developing and implementing quality management systems, conducting internal and external audits, performing detailed root cause analysis, risk management, key performance indicators implementation, data analysis, and driving continual improvement and digitalisation initiatives. He is a certified lead auditor for ISO 9001 quality management systems and ISO 45001 health and safety, a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt practitioner, and a certified key performance indicator professional, C-KPI. Dharma has worked across diverse sectors, including manufacturing, engineering services, and oil and gas, gaining deep insights into various industry tools and practices. His multi-sector exposure enhances his ability to tailor solutions to organizational needs. His recent article, Building a KPI Framework, was featured in Quality World Spring Magazine for 2025, where he simplifies the application of KPIs using the Plan, Do, Check, Act approach, offering practical examples applicable to any industry. He is passionate about quality excellence and continuously advancing systems to deliver measurable business value. I'm looking forward for this conversations. Hi, Dharma.
Hi, Rashad. Thank you for having me. Nice to see you again from Dubai to this podcast. So I'm so delighted to be here and grateful for this opportunity.
I am really looking forward for this conversation. A great experience, and I really like the multiple sector exposure. But all of this is my own introduction. Why don't
Yeah.
you share with our listeners and viewers your career journey? How did it all start, and how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, that's so great. Okay, after completing my mechanical engineering degree, I started my career in 2009 as an inspection engineer in an Indian-based certification body. Through them, I had the opportunity to work with the Bureau of Indian Standards. So BIS is the Indian National Standard Body. They used to develop standards for the product and services within India. I'm so fortunate to have started my career with them. Reason why I visited more than 200 plus companies to perform inspections and evaluate them whether they are in compliance with the BIS standard requirements. Over there, I was mentored by Mr. Vijay Veeran. I'm so thankful for him because every day was a new day for me, full of learning. I have to read a lot of standards before going for an inspection. And after gaining that experience, I moved to the manufacturing sector. That's a completely the different vertical from the service to the manufacturing. So that time it was the Japanese company that they established a new plant in the southern part of India. There I handled the ISO 9001 2008, which means the previous version of the QMS standard. And then the 14001 2004, the implementation right from the scratch by developing a manuals, procedures, work instructions, SOPs, and all of the supporting documents. And even I have organized a lot of quality circle programs over there, and I was part of Kaizen and the FIRES implementation. So in this moment, I would like to thank Mr. Takashi Michiyu, who had put, the confidence in my potential, says that, okay, I can do it. And then I moved to an engineering company, again, the different verticals of the manufacturing, the service sector. Again, it was a startup company where I have to implement ISO 9001 2008, the previous standard, again, right from the scratch. And later on, we successfully migrated to ISO 9001 2015 with greater efforts and commitments, I would say that. And I took the complete responsibility for the project quality assurance, and I handled the functional roles as well. I was also actively involved in the implementation of value engineering and continuous improvement projects. So to me, what I'm trying to say, regardless of the industry, the concept and the framework remains the same. Only the processes and supporting documents may vary depending on the industry. So I'd like to thank Mr. Praveen Pavashettar and Mr. Amudan for mentoring me during my 4-year tenure in the engineering service sector. And after that, I moved to the UK-based EPC contracting company in Sharjah. In the quality assurance function, again, some of my notable works and involvements of KPI implementation right from the scratch. That's we kind of speak about it in in the upcoming part. That's my the core sector, and then the digitalization of the quality tools and data analysis, performing internal external audits, optimizing supply pre-qualification process by licensing with SCM function. And during my 4-year tenure in that company, I almost performed 150 plus supply pre-qualification audits, including remote and site-based. It's huge thanks to Mr. Saji Vagish and Mr. Shiburata for mentoring me there. And for the past 2 years, I've been working with a US-based EPC contracting company in Dubai. Even it has its presence all over the world. I'm currently working in a QHSES assurance function, managing the offshore business line functional audits, again, the KPI implementation and supporting the global team with the digitalization process and implementation in the region, and then delivering training about the detailed RCA structured approach and quality processes and quality tools and digitalization process and so on and so forth. I'm so happy that my efforts are being recognized now. Again, huge thanks to Mr. Saji and Martin Terhar for acknowledging my potential. And throughout my career, I have found the three things are so critical in my life. The first one is the challenges, curiosity, and passion that have driven me to the stage now.
That's a great
Yeah,
career, Dharma, and you're still also very young. So, what I really like, though, is no doubt starting from certification bodies and doing those inspection and audits.
yeah,
Over 200 organizations would have given you a lot of insight on how businesses run their quality management systems, their health and safety management
yeah,
systems. So, that is a great exposure. And I like that you've then went to different sides of the table, whether it's through
yeah,
manufacturing, through engineering, and helped with all of that. I'm very
yeah,
interested in touching on the key performance indicators. So I have read your article in Quality World magazine, and it's truly insightful. And I like that you've combined both KPIs with the Plan, Do, Check, Act, the PDCA cycle, which every quality professional and
yeah.
non-quality professional have heard the term or knows the framework. Could you please just share a little bit about that certification that you've done and the framework itself?
Yeah, sure, pretty sure about it. Yep. How I make the framework to me, the KPIs are the quantitable measures. And before getting into that part, the base is like an effective performance management means it's an alignment of organization vision, strategy, objectives, KPIs, and initiatives. So where the KPIs lies, the KPIs as an essential tool for evaluating organization success in achieving the strategic objectives. So we have to frame the KPI in such a way we are addressing the strategic objectives and towards the vision part of the organization. So most importantly, the top management involvement is so crucial for the effective and successful implementation of the KPI framework. Indeed, in my present company, we have received huge support from the senior leadership team, and they are driving it from the top. This further motivated me to execute it effectively. And coming to the execution perspective, it is so important that we have to clearly define the roles and responsibility of the person involved, such as the KPI coordinator, and he's the one who has to drive right from the start till the reporting part. And then the department process owner, who is taking the responsibility of gathering the data, review the data, approve the data, and then the data custodian. So these three responsibilities are so critical for the implementation of the KPI framework, and that has to be defined before getting into that. So I developed the framework based on the PDCA, which means the dimming cycle, to make it more simple and relatable to everyone. So in the plan phase, I focused on three key areas. The first one is the KPI selection, and which means that we have to identify the right KPIs for an organization. And the second one, I pitched upon the KPI alignment. So over there, what I'm trying to say, we have to ensure that the KPIs are aligned with the strategic objective of an organization. And then we have to ensure that the aligned with the other function to drive collaboration. So that's where the KPI alignment is so critical. It's not like, okay, we identify the KPIs, let's set the target and move on with the subsequent process. No, it should not be the case. Once we identify the right KPIs, ensure that the KPIs are aligned with the respective areas. And the third stage about the target setting. So the target settings we need to have some sources how to set the target. Let's say there are, like we can look at the historical data, historical trend, what we got for the last 6 months or 1 year. And second way is looking at the internal, external benchmarking, or having a discussion with the stakeholders, because stakeholders, the person who is working on the processes, they knows where exactly we are lying. So these are the inputs we can gather to set the target. So if you ask me personally on these three areas, I would say that identifying the right KPIs is a key to success. And in the do phase, I explained the process of data gathering and visualization part. And in the visualization part, I mainly touched upon in the articles, we need to avoid using a lot of 3D graphics and so on and so forth. We have to make it very simple and focused on what we are trying to say. And I would say that the pie charts are most effectively when we are trying to display only 3 to 5 categories, or else we have to go with the bar and column chart for better clarity. And on the do phase, again, I touched upon the identifying the action plans for the low performance. Reason why I touched this area. So, okay, once we set the target and we have to measure where are we. One, let's say, for example, if we achieve the target, it's good to go. And we are doing good processes. We are doing good level of improvements there. If not, we need to identify why the KPIs, the set KPI or the target was not met. We need to identify the reason for it, and we have to put some action in place. And those actions and those root causes has to be clearly reported in the KPI reporting. And that's what I covered in the do phase area. And in the check phase, I covered the importance of verifying the effectiveness of the action taken. So what I'm trying to say there, once the actions are closed by the process owner, it is recommended to evaluate the effectiveness of action taken to avoid recurrence. Even the ISO also trying to say about the same thing, like once the NCRs are closed, we need to look at the actions, whether the actions are implemented effectively into the respective area. I took the same approach into the KPI. So in the KPI also, we need to identify the action for the low performing KPI, implement the actions, and verify the effectiveness. And in the act phase, I explained the review of KPIs on an yearly basis or as required. Reason why, we have to ensure that the KPIs are still aligned with the organizational strategy, and review the trend with the yearly data and make some necessary adjustments in the KPI target as required. Because we might be looking at the past 6 months data or 1 year data. If you perform good, it's better to uplift our capability to set just next level of target. Or for some KPIs, we may achieving like, instead of 90% target for the last 6 months or 1 year, we might be achieving like 40%, 50%. Then we have to think about it. Okay, have we set the realistic data, or have we set the realistic target for that? So by looking at the past indicators, the trend, we need to adjust the target. So this is what I'm trying to cover in the act phase of the frequent review. And then sometimes we might be looking at the data sources, we might be digitalize some of the areas, or we have to ensure that the measurement methodology, what we used, is still valid or not. That's where I try to cover. I covered in the act phase. I personally feel, like you said, articles gives a clear understanding to anyone who wants to implement the KPIs framework right from the scratch. And indeed, using this opportunity, I'd like to thank Tracy and Amy from C-KPI, and Fiona, my mentor throughout the C-KPI mentorship program, for helping showcase my talent and skills to the quality world.
Well, thank you very much, Dharma, for sharing this concept of the KPI framework. There are a few things I really liked and stood out to me first. One of them is using graphs and charts is really an art. And you need to understand what graph to use for what message you're portraying. Otherwise, it could become noise and it doesn't deliver the message that you want. So I like that you've touched on that. The other part which really stood out as well is you talk about lagging KPIs and forward-looking KPIs. And in all of the work that we do, trend analysis, reflection, and forward planning is essential. And I like that you've connected the dots in those two areas as well.
Exactly.
Out of interest, what prompted you to become certified KPI practitioner?
Yeah. The reason why, because we were, using the objectives in terms of ISO standards, because the ISO asks for measuring the objectives for an organization. So I try to look at further drill down the KPIs where we can implement across all functions, whether is it reflecting the support of the objectives, or we try to capture the strategy objectives, or the objectives what we use, or is it reflecting the vision part. So I try to figure it, okay, how can I improve it better? What area I have to improve it? Then I felt that, okay, there is a KPI, there's a separate course for the KPI where we can, just looking at that, where we can learn more on the KPI terminology and for the implementation. So I went with the KPI Institute and I took the course. It's a 5 days course. It's very insightful, helpful. And that gives me the clear understanding, even though we have used that processes and practices in the past, but after taking that, it gives me the clear clarity what I'm supposed to do, like kind of gap checks, what we
Very
did in
good.
the past years and what we are doing now. So with that things in the mind, I just went forward and then I put a framework what to do and how to implement it further. I took the support from the senior leadership team. I explained, okay, this is the way we can do it. Unfortunately, I have great mentors with me and they extend their greatest support to make it happen.
Very good. Very good. I like that sort of curiosity and research has prompted, you to understand what exists in this framework. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. This is very very good. What about a success story that you're proud of that you can share with everyone that they could benefit from?
Yeah. Okay, I would say that the principle, the what I applied so far, I've worked in different verticals, service industries, manufacturing, oil and gas for the last 10 plus years. So far, I tried to explore a lot of quality tools and techniques have saved me on many occasions. I would say I would like to share one instances from my time at an engineering company. In the initial phase, I was struggling to understand how the inputs flowed from one function to other function, because in engineering we have multiple sub-functions such as the process, pipeline, structural, civil, architectural, mechanical, electrical, and so on and so forth. So I was curious to understand the interrelationship between the function, because one wrong input from one function can have a cumulative effect across multiple disciplines. So that's when I decided that the CPOC, the process approach model, what we used in the ISO standard, I felt that would be the greater tool to understand the complete interrelationship between the functions and the deliverables. So what I did, I listed all the deliverables and approached the discipline leads to populate the information in the structure. And over here, I just want to emphasize that the people relationship played a key role for me. And thankfully, I received the greatest support from the leads. In fact, many of them mentioned that the information, what we are trying to make it was very informative and insight for their own understanding as well. After that, whenever I try to conduct an engineering audit, I felt much more confidence, not only in evaluating systems or standard requirement, but also in verifying whether the technical inputs and outputs between the deliverables were being appropriately incorporated. And further to that, I just want to break it down in further three areas. The first one is the ISO QMS implementations and the digitalization of the quality tools and the pre-qualification areas. So I'm proud of what I did during my time in both manufacturing engineering companies, because I had the opportunity to implement ISO 9001 right from the scratch, not only
Mm.
once, but multiple times. So building those systems taught me that quality is not just meeting the requirement or just not, just to meet the compliance of the standard.
Yeah.
It's about creating a strong foundation that the key teams can rely on.
What
And
are the,
then
the
coming,
three areas
yeah,
that you mentioned, Dharma? So you so
yeah,
in your toolbox, the quality management system, the QMS, the
yes,
digitization of the tools that you use, and sorry, what was the third
yes.
area?
Supplier pre-qualification audits,
Perfect. Thank
supplier
you.
evaluation and
Yeah,
pre-qualification
yeah,
audits.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Very good. Very good.
yeah.
So this is always in your toolbox that you're ready to pick up
Obviously,
and
yes, yes, exactly. Because now, even the CQI touched upon the quality 4.0, like 4 years before, or 5 years before. I've seen it in the magazine. That triggers me, and with the support of my leads over there, we try to digitalize a lot of quality tools in my previous company and the present company as well. I'm so happy that I played a vital role in implementing the applications like NCRs, RCA, and audit systems, the complete digital, no manual works at all. Even I developed the comprehensive materials and conducted continuous training for the employees to make sure that they were comfortable and aware about the system functionality requirements and process flow for ensuring they are move to the effective transition of manual process to the web-based application.
So it's always
And
about finding any gaps and then helping businesses improve.
yeah,
And for everybody that's listening to us, when you hear terms of NCRs and RCAs, NCR is our language of saying there are non-conformities or an organization or a process did not adhere to what was agreed on, and RCAs are the root cause analysis. So when something fails, we need to understand why it fails. And one more thing you've mentioned, Dharma, is you touched
yeah,
base on the CQI, that's the Chartered Quality Institute's Quality 4.0 research. For
yeah,
everybody who's listening or joining us in this conversation, you can find more about that on the CQI's website. It's a research about basically the fourth revolution of how we operate in the digital world today and bringing forward our quality principles with us.
yeah. It's
That's
great. Yeah,
it's good to know that sort of helping this engineering organization deploy the QMS as a foundational bit, but also driving improvement forward. And I really like that you touched base on the fact that it all goes down to relationships, stakeholder relationships,
yeah.
internal and with your supply chain.
Exactly, exactly. And I just want to touch upon the third part, the supplier pre-qualification audits.
Yep.
So I've done more than 150 plus supplier pre-qualifications in my previous
Wow.
company itself. Yes, that gives me a greater exposure to various companies, systems and process because when we establish something in our organization, we may feel that, okay, that's the best system in the world. But when you're looking at the other processes in other companies, we may get some best practices, different exposure. That gives me an additional responsibility to ensure that we are selecting the competent suppliers that meets the organizational requirements.
Very good, very good. Definitely, making sure we always operate and are open-minded to see how other businesses are operating, not to find out only failures, but to be able
Yeah.
to look at success stories from them and hopefully deploy it in our work environment. Dharma, if I flip the coin right now and I ask you about a situation or an instance where things were not working, and then you've deployed quality principles, whether it was governance, improvement, or assurance, and this deployment helped save the day and sort of improve the situation. What comes to mind?
Yeah. Okay. There are a lot of principles I explored in all the companies. And one particular instance, I would say that in the engineering company, again, I touched upon the engineering because that's where we can put a lot of efforts over there, a lot of sub functions, and we can explore more things and we can learn more things over there. And okay, the what I did differently over there in the engineering company. So I try to do some continual improvement project with a 6 point approach. That's the first time I mean heard about the 6 point approach. Most of them might be heard about the Six Sigma DMAC method or DMDV methods, but the 6 point I feel it's a new one. Let's try to explore is what does it mean that whether it will be helpful for the implementation. So what the 6 point approach talks about the first one we have to identify what exactly the problem where we want to improve the area. And the second one, we have to identify the proposals for the improvement, what kind of actions we have to make it to correct that particular problem. And we have to identify the obstacles to implementations. So let's say once we identify the actions, what are the areas we may face some kind of obstacles to proceed further. And in the fourth point where they are trying to say that the resources required to accomplish the project. So what are the areas, what are the resources required? Is it, I mean, just for the cost, do we need to get some support from the management? Do we need to get some people from the functions to implement it for the effective way? And once we identify the necessary resources, just to try to make it in the proper way. And the fifth phase, we need to assess the results of implementations, which means that once the actions are implemented, we need to assess whether the actions are implemented effectively into the respective areas. And then the last one, the benefits. Okay, what we got out of that in the sense once we implemented. So this 6 point approach helped me to develop or implement one continuous improvement project. This is about the PDMS software utilization and monitoring. So over there, we were facing a lot of issues in terms of how to, you use the timing for the utilization of the PDMS software. But I use this approach and we make some changes over there and we got benefit on that.
Wow. So this is a yet another tool that you have in your toolbox that you
Yeah.
can tap into that would help you further in your root cause analysis, but
Yeah,
address it in a more a balance between a holistic approach from a top level, but
correct.
also diving deep into those 6 steps or 6 points to understand how to address it and move forward.
Exactly, yeah. Because mostly we heard about the DMAIC methodology from the Six Sigma. So many people have explored it, but I found it okay, this 6 point approach could also be the alternative to understand it further. Why can't we try it to make some continuous improvement project with that?
And your stakeholders internally were responsive to it.
Exactly. I got the positive response. We did the benefit. I mean, we made it happen in the sense we have seen the benefits in front of us, in front of the table, and management was very happy with the approach what we presented to them. It's like, okay, once we implement it, we have to present to the senior management team what we did and what's the benefit of the implementations. So obviously, we got a very positive response from the people and from the leadership team.
Very good. Dharma, this is a very insightful conversation. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm also very much conscious of time. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing all of those insights. A person with your experience and your multi-sector, where do you get your inspiration from, or how do you keep your knowledge up to date? Any books, podcasts, or journals that you tap into?
Yeah, I prefer networking first. That's the reason I know I got an opportunity to multiple people from multiple sectors. That gives me a lot of insight to improve it better on myself, and then I can share the best practices to them as well. So the first thing, the networking, and second one, I would say mentorship program, especially from CQI. I got the benefit from the mentorship program. So Fiona is
Mm.
my mentor. I mean, she's the one who got the 2023 CQI Quality Professional of the Year award. So I'm happy that I got her as a mentor through the CQI mentorship program. And then I would prefer to go with the professional appreciation membership, like the CQI. In fact, my confidence level increased after attaining the chartered quality professional status. Even one of my mentor always says that the building a strong relationship with the people is to success. I strongly believe that.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much for sharing all of this. Dharma, before I let you go, you've shared a lot of stories from a professional side, but
Yeah.
let's get our listeners and viewers to get to know Dharma as a person as well. Quick fire questions without
Yeah.
thinking. Give me the answer straight away. Are
Yeah.
you a coffee or a tea person?
I'm one of the rarest people who don't drink either. I'll go with the
Oh no.
water, water or fresh juice.
Oh wow, wow. Well, if we get to meet in person again, I might work on changing that, Dharma. I'm a
Yeah.
coffee person, but very good. A train ride or a flight?
Oh, flight.
You enjoy flying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
holidays?
Yeah. Obviously, yes. I like to visit a lot of sea areas. Like I like nature as well. That gives me calm and then pleasant to my mind.
Very good, very good. So
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you whether you are a beach holiday person or a city break, but I think you would opt for more nature and
Yes.
Karma Reserve, fantastic.
Correct. Yeah.
And finally, are you a cinema person or do you enjoy theater?
Cinema.
Cinema,
With
action
yeah.
movies?
Yes. Yes. With the special effects, with the sounds.
Excellent, excellent, fantastic. Dharma, this has been a very insightful organization, very insightful conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing lots of information about your career journey, about the KPIs, and about the 6 point approach. You have been listening to Rashad in Conversation with me, your host, Prashad Isa. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit subscribe, follow, or download as I bring you monthly guests from around the world to share their stories of the quality profession.
Thank you, Rashad.